The crystal chandelier cast prismatic shadows across the Morgan Mansion's grand hall. Beneath its glow, 6-year-old Lily Morgan cautiously pushed her small silver wheelchair through the crowded birthday celebration. Her delicate hands gripped the wheels with determination, her golden brown hair falling softly around a face too serious for her years. Rebecca Winters, Morgan stood at the center of attention, her crimson gown catching every eye in the room. At 34, she commanded the space with practiced elegance, her smile never wavering as she accepted congratulations from New York's financial elite. She was the perfect wife of William Morgan, CEO of Morgan Enterprises, though her smile contained secrets darker than anyone could imagine. Lily's wheelchair caught on the hem of a guest's designer gown. A champagne glass toppled, spilling ruby liquid across the pristine white carpet. The room fell silent. Dozens of eyes turned toward the small figure in the wheelchair. Rebecca approached with measured steps, her smile fixed in place. She bent down, her voice honey-sweet yet loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "Sweetie, you need to be more careful." Her eyes told a different story. They burned with cold fury as she straightened and walked to the banquet table. With deliberate movements, she lifted a bowl of steaming pumpkin soup. The front door opened. William Morgan stepped inside, a gift box wrapped in silver paper clutched in his hand. His 6-foot frame froze at the threshold, the smile of anticipation dying on his lips. Rebecca turned and, with one fluid motion, poured the scalding soup directly over Lily's head. "Mom, it's too hot!" Lily's scream pierced the shocked silence. The soup cascaded down her golden brown hair, soaking her pale blue dress. Her small hands trembled as she tried to wipe the burning liquid from her face, only spreading it further. William's gift box crashed to the marble floor. His voice came low, dangerous. "From this moment, you will never touch her again." The words hung in the air like an oath carved in stone. Rebecca's perfect smile faltered for the first time that evening. Vanessa, Rebecca's younger sister, laughed nervously from across the room. Children can be so clumsy, especially special ones. Her husband, Eric Bennett, nodded with a smirk. "Perhaps she needs more discipline, not less." William ignored them. He crossed the room in 4 long strides, kneeling beside Lily's wheelchair. Her scalp showed angry red patches where the soup had burned her delicate skin. Tears mixed with soup dripped from her chin. "Come, sweetheart," William whispered, lifting her gently from the chair. "Let's get you cleaned up." As he carried her from the room, the silver watch on his wrist caught the light, a gift from his first wife, Catherine, before the sea claimed her 3 years ago. William never looked at its face, as if the moving hands would force him to acknowledge time's relentless march away from his past happiness. The guests began to whisper. Rebecca maintained her composure, raising a champagne glass as if nothing unusual had occurred. "Please continue enjoying the evening," she announced. "Children sometimes need to learn difficult lessons." Upstairs, William gently bathed Lily's head in the master bathroom, his hands shaking as he applied cool water to her scalp. "I'm going to be very careful, Princess. Tell me if it hurts too much." Lily bit her lower lip, her eyes squeezing shut when the washcloth touched a particularly tender spot. "It's okay, Daddy. I won't cry." As William cleaned away the soup, he noticed something that made his stomach clench. Beneath Lily's collar, partially hidden by her hair, were fading purple bruises. He gently moved her sleeve, revealing more marks on her upper arm. "Lily," he asked, keeping his voice steady despite the rage building inside him, "how did you get these bruises?" The little girl's eyes widened with fear. She looked toward the door, then back at her father. "If I tell you, she'll push my wheelchair down the stairs again," she whispered so softly William barely heard the words. "Like last time when I spilled juice on her book." William's hands froze. The washcloth dripped onto the marble floor. A memory surfaced of Lily's accident 2 months ago. Rebecca had called him at the office, explaining that Lily had somehow wheeled herself too close to the staircase and fallen. The doctors had noted additional bruising, inconsistent with the fall, but Rebecca had dismissed their concerns, attributing them to Lily's physical therapy sessions. "Lily, has Rebecca hurt you before?" William asked, struggling to keep his voice calm. Lily nodded almost imperceptibly. "She says I'm a burden, that I ruined your life, that you'd be happier if I wasn't here." William gathered his daughter into his arms, feeling her small body tremble against his chest. How had he been so blind? so willing to believe everything was fine while he buried himself in work following Catherine's death. The grief and guilt that had driven him to build his financial empire suddenly seemed meaningless compared to the terror his daughter had been living with. "Listen to me," he said, holding her gaze. "You are the most precious thing in my life. I promise you, from this moment forward, she will never hurt you again." The silver watch felt heavy on his wrist, as if Catherine herself were reaching across time, demanding he protect their child. While Lily rested in his bed, William quietly retrieved his laptop and began searching through Rebecca's personal files. His security background from his brief military service before medical school proved useful as he bypassed her passwords. What he found turned his blood cold. Files detailing a special boarding school in Switzerland. Correspondence with a facility that, upon closer examination, appeared to be a remote psychiatric institution with questionable practices. Forms nearly completed for Lily's admission, scheduled for transportation in just 48 hours. William continued searching. Rebecca's background check before their marriage had shown nothing suspicious. Yet now, digging deeper, he found newspaper articles carefully buried in encrypted folders. A house fire in Connecticut 7 years ago. Rebecca's first husband and 7-year-old son, Christopher. The official report ruled it accidental, but there had been an investigation that mysteriously closed without conclusions. The bedroom door creaked open. William quickly closed the laptop. Rebecca stood in the doorway, her crimson gown exchanged for silk loungewear. Her expression was once again perfectly composed, showing appropriate concern. "How is she?" Rebecca asked, not entering the room. "Burned," William replied, his voice controlled, physically and emotionally. Rebecca sighed, leaning against the doorframe. "William, you know how children can exaggerate. Lily has been particularly difficult lately, and sometimes firm discipline is necessary." "Discipline?" William stood, putting himself between Rebecca and the sleeping child. "You poured scalding soup over a 6-year-old girl in a wheelchair." Rebecca's eyes hardened momentarily before filling with calculated tears. "I lost my temper. You have no idea how challenging it is, caring for her every day while you're building your empire. She's not even my child, yet I've given up everything to be a mother to her." William stepped closer, his voice dropping to ensure Lily wouldn't wake. "I know about the school in Switzerland, Rebecca. I know it's not really a school." A flicker of surprise crossed her face before she recovered. "You're going through my private files now? That school has exceptional programs for children with special needs. I was researching options for her future." "Her future is with me," William said, "and I think it's time we had an honest conversation about yours." Rebecca's demeanor changed instantly. The vulnerability vanished, replaced by cold calculation. "Careful, William, you're not thinking clearly. Lily needs stability, proper care, the kind a busy man like yourself can't provide." "What happened to Christopher?" William asked. The question hung between them like a loaded gun. Rebecca's face drained of color before she composed herself. "My son died tragically. You know this. How dare you bring him up now?" "The investigation into the fire was never properly concluded," William pressed. "Weepa." Rebecca's laugh was brittle. "You think you know something? Prove it. Meanwhile, our flight to Zurich leaves the day after tomorrow. Lily will receive the specialized care she needs, and you can focus on what you do best, making money." She turned to leave, then paused. "By the way, I've updated our will. Should anything happen to you, I'll ensure Lily is properly cared for. I had papers drawn up last week, which you signed among your regular business documents." William felt a chill run through him. He remembered signing a stack of papers Rebecca had brought to his office, trusting her as he focused on a major acquisition. "You think I'm going to let you take her?" William's voice was deadly quiet. Rebecca smiled, the expression never reaching her eyes. "You think you can stop me? The clock is ticking, William, and you can't turn it back." She glanced pointedly at his silver watch. "By this time Tuesday, everything will be as it should be." After Rebecca left, William checked on Lily, still sleeping peacefully thanks to the mild pain medication the doctor had prescribed. He kissed her forehead gently, then went to his study. Patricia Harris, his executive assistant for 15 years, answered his call on the first ring despite the late hour. "Patricia, I need you to look into something immediately. The Winterline Psychiatric Facility in Switzerland. Also, I need everything you can find on Rebecca's first husband and their son. Of course, Mr. Morgan, Patricia replied, her voice reflecting none of the surprise she must have felt. Should I be discreet about this? Absolutely. Trust no one at the office with this information. After hanging up, William noticed a blinking light on his bookshelf. Investigating closer, he discovered a tiny camera hidden among his books, angled perfectly to monitor his desk. A cold realization washed over him. Rebecca had been watching him. A quick but thorough search revealed 3 more cameras in his study and another in Lily's bedroom. William left them untouched, now aware that Rebecca was monitoring their every move. He returned to Lily's side, stretching out on the bed beside her, his mind racing through options. Sleep eluded him as he plotted their escape and how to gather evidence against Rebecca. Near dawn, his phone vibrated with a message from Patricia. Information ready, Winterline not accredited. 6 children admitted in last 3 years. 3 deceased, 2 missing. 1 suicide. Rebecca's first husband died in fire ruled suspicious, but case closed after substantial donations to investigators' charity. Call me ASAP. William's resolve hardened. He would not allow Lily to become another statistic in Rebecca's history. As morning light filtered through the curtains, Lily stirred. Her small hand found William's, squeezing it as she opened her eyes. Daddy, you stayed with me all night? William nodded, forcing a smile. I'll always stay with you, princess. She's going to be angry, Lily whispered, fear returning to her eyes. Not anymore, William promised. We're going on a little trip today, just you and me. But what about the special school? Lily asked, her voice trembling. Mom said I have to go because I'm not normal like other kids. William's heart broke at the resignation in her voice. There is no school, sweetheart, and you're perfect exactly as you are. He helped Lily dress, choosing warm clothes and explaining they would be going somewhere safe. As he packed a small bag with essentials, he heard Rebecca's voice from downstairs, speaking on the phone. The arrangements are final, she was saying. 48 hours, and both our problems will be solved permanently. The offshore accounts are ready. Yes, I've updated the will. No, he suspects nothing serious, just a little family drama. William felt the blood drain from his face. The implications were clear. Rebecca wasn't just planning to institutionalize Lilo. She was setting the stage for something far worse. He returned to Lily, helping her into her wheelchair. We need to be very quiet, he whispered. We're going to play a game. The secret escape mission. Can you do that? Lily nodded solemnly, her small face serious. Like spies? Exactly like spies, William confirmed, showing her how to move the wheelchair silently across the carpet. They made their way down the service elevator at the back of the mansion, avoiding the main staircase where Rebecca was still on her call. William loaded Lily and her chair into a secondary car, an unmarked sedan rather than his usual luxury vehicle. As they pulled away from the mansion, William caught sight of Rebecca watching from an upstairs window. The look on her face told him everything. She wouldn't let them go easily. They drove in silence for several miles before Lily spoke. Daddy, where are we going? William checked the rearview mirror for any signs of pursuit. Somewhere safe. I have a friend who can help us. Will Mom find us? The question carried equal measures of hope and fear. Not today. Today, William promised, though he knew Rebecca would use every resource at her disposal to track them down. His phone rang. Rebecca's name flashed on the screen. William ignored it, then turned the device off completely after sending one final text to Patricia. Taking Lily to safety. We'll contact soon. Prepare the files. They drove to a small hotel on the outskirts of the city, one unlikely to be on Rebecca's radar. After checking in under a false name, William settled Lily in their room. How about some breakfast, he suggested, trying to normalize the situation for her sake. Lily picked at her pancakes while William made several calls from a burner phone he'd purchased at a gas station. The first was to Thomas Porter, Catherine's brother, who had remained close to the family even after her death. Thomas, I need your help. It's about Lily. She's in danger. From Rebecca? Thomas asked without hesitation. I've never trusted her, Will. You were right, William admitted. I need somewhere safe for Lily to stay temporarily, and I need your help gathering evidence. Bring her to the lake house, Thomas said immediately. No one knows about it except family. I'll meet you there tonight. The second call was to Sarah Davis, Lily's art teacher. Sarah had always shown special attention to Lily, encouraging her artistic talents despite her physical limitations. "Mr. Morgan, is everything all right?" Sarah asked, clearly surprised by the call from an unknown number. "Sarah, this is extremely confidential. Has Lily ever drawn or said anything concerning about her home life?" A pause stretched over the line. "I've been worried for months," Sarah finally admitted. "Her drawings changed dramatically after your marriage to Rebecca. Dark colors, confined spaces, shadowy figures. When I asked, she would clam up entirely. "I need those drawings," William said. "All of them. They could be crucial evidence." "Evidence?" Sarah sounded alarmed. "Mr. Morgan, is Lily safe?" "She's with me now, but we need to ensure she stays safe. Can you bring her artwork to Thomas Porter's lake house tonight?" Sarah agreed immediately, expressing relief that someone was finally addressing her long-held concerns. After finishing his calls, William sat beside Lily on the hotel bed. "How about a story before nap time?" Lily nodded eagerly, settling against the pillows as William began reading from a book he'd grabbed from her room. Halfway through the story, she interrupted. "Daddy, remember when you were a doctor, before you worked in the big office?" The question caught William off guard. He had been a pediatric surgeon before Catherine's death, before grief drove him to take over and expand his family's investment firm. "I remember," he said softly. "Why do you ask?" "You made people better then," Lily said simply. "You fixed broken things." The innocent observation struck William to his core. He had abandoned his calling, buried himself in acquisition deals and stock portfolios while his daughter suffered in silence. "I did," he acknowledged, "and maybe someday I will again." Lily's eyes grew heavy as the story continued. Just before she drifted off, she murmured, "I wish you could fix my legs. Then we could run away together." William watched her sleep, his heart heavy with regret for all the time he'd lost, all the warning signs he'd missed. The silver watch on his wrist seemed to grow heavier, a constant reminder of his failures. His new phone buzzed with a text from Patricia. "Urgent. Rebecca has filed police report. Claims you've kidnapped Lily during psychotic episode. Claims you're dangerous, off medication. Media already picking up story. Check news." William turned on the television, keeping the volume low. His face appeared on the screen beneath the headline. "Billionaire Morgan abducts disabled daughter. Wife fears for child's safety." Rebecca appeared on screen, the perfect picture of distress in a modest blue dress, her eyes red from crying. "I'm terrified for my stepdaughter," she told the reporters, her voice breaking. William hasn't been himself lately. He's been under tremendous pressure at work, refusing his medication. "Please, William, if you're watching this, bring Lily home. She needs her special treatments. She needs stability." The reporter continued, "Sources close to the family claim Morgan has been increasingly paranoid, making accusations against his wife of 2 years. Police have issued an alert for his vehicle, describing the situation as potentially dangerous." William shut off the television, his mind racing. Rebecca had outmaneuvered him, using his protective actions to paint him as unstable. His phone rang again. "Thomas." "Will, have you seen the news?" Police came asking questions. "I told them I hadn't heard from you, but they'll be watching me now." "Can you still meet us?" "Yes, but be careful. Take back roads to the lake house." "And Will, Rebecca has powerful friends. Eric Bennett is already giving statements to the press about your concerning behavior in recent weeks." After hanging up, William gently woke Lily. "Change of plans, princess. We need to move again." Lily rubbed her eyes. "Is Mom trying to find us?" "Yes, but we're going to stay ahead of her. Remember our spy mission?" As William gathered their few belongings, a knock came at the door. His body tensed, positioning himself between Lily and the potential threat. "Housekeeping," called a female voice. "No service needed, thank you," William responded, watching the door handle to ensure it didn't turn. After a moment of silence, a note slid under the door. William cautiously retrieved it. "I know the truth about Rebecca. Meet me at Hudson Bay Pier 17. 8 p.m. Bring Lily, CL." William stared at the initials, his mind racing through possibilities. Who was CL and how had they found him? More importantly, was this a trap set by Rebecca? He folded the note into his pocket. Whether trap or legitimate offer of help, it represented their best lead at the moment. "Lily, we're going on another adventure," he said, forcing a smile. "But first, we need a disguise." At a discount store several blocks from the hotel, William purchased baseball caps for both of them, sunglasses, and a different jacket for himself. He also bought hairbands to pull Lily's distinctive golden brown hair into a style different from her usual look. As afternoon faded into evening, William drove circuitous routes through the city, constantly checking for any vehicles that might be following them. The pier mentioned in the note was industrial, largely abandoned after business hours, perfect for a private meeting, but also ideal for an ambush. William parked 2 blocks away, scanning the area carefully before retrieving Lily's wheelchair from the trunk. "Are we meeting someone, Daddy?" Lily asked as he settled her into the chair. "Maybe," William replied honestly, "but I need you to promise something. If I ever tell you to close your eyes and cover your ears, you do it immediately. No questions, okay?" Lily nodded solemnly. "Is it because of bad people?" "Just a precaution," William assured her, though he had slipped a small canister of pepper spray into his pocket, a remnant from Catherine's personal safety kit that he'd kept in his glove compartment. The pier was deserted, the slap of water against moorings and distant foghorns the only sounds breaking the silence. William pushed Lily's wheelchair carefully over the uneven boards, staying in shadows, every sense alert for danger. A figure emerged from behind a stack of shipping pallets. William tensed, positioning himself in front of Lily's wheelchair. "Dr. Morgan, is that really you?" The voice was female, familiar though William couldn't immediately place it. The woman stepped closer, her face becoming visible in the dim light from a distant lamp. "Claire? Claire Lawrence?" The woman nodded, relief evident in her expression. Claire Lawrence had been a pediatric nurse at the hospital where William had worked. She'd left shortly after he had, and they'd lost touch. "I wasn't sure you'd come," she said, glancing anxiously around. "It's not safe here. They might be watching." "Who might be watching?" William asked, still maintaining a cautious distance. "And how did you find us?" "I saw the news," Claire explained, "but I knew something wasn't right. I recognized Rebecca immediately, though she's using a different name now. She was Charlotte Reynolds when I knew her." William's mind reeled at this revelation. "Different name?" Claire nodded grimly. "I was Christopher's nurse before he died, her son from her first marriage. The poor boy was always in and out of hospitals with mysterious symptoms that baffled doctors, until one doctor suspected Munchausen by proxy." William felt a chill that had nothing to do with the evening air. Munchausen by proxy, a psychiatric disorder where a caregiver fabricates or induces illness in another person to gain attention or sympathy, often with deadly results. "You think she deliberately made her son sick?" "I'm certain of it," Claire said flatly. "But before the investigation could be completed, there was the house fire. Christopher didn't make it out. Her husband died trying to save him." Lily tugged at William's sleeve. "Daddy, who is this lady?" William placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "An old friend, Princess. She used to help me take care of sick children when I was a doctor." Claire smiled at Lily, though her eyes remained troubled. "Hello, Lily. You look just like your mother. Catherine was a lovely woman." "You knew my mom?" Lily asked, her interest piqued. "She brought cookies to the children's ward every Christmas," Claire confirmed. "She had the kindest heart." A noise from the far end of the pier interrupted their conversation. Footsteps, multiple sets, approaching with purpose. Claire's expression turned to panic. "They found us. We need to go. Now." "Who found us?" William demanded, already turning Lily's wheelchair. "Rebecca has connections with private security firms," Claire explained hurriedly. "Former military, some with questionable ethics. They've been watching me since I started asking questions after Christopher's death." The footsteps grew louder. William made a split-second decision. "Claire, take Lily to the car. 2 blocks north, silver sedan, keys in my right pocket. I'll create a diversion." "No, Daddy," Lily cried, reaching for him. "Don't leave me." William knelt before her, looking directly into her eyes. "Remember our spy mission? Claire is our ally. I'll be right behind you, but you need to go now." Reluctantly, Lily nodded. Claire took the keys and began pushing the wheelchair rapidly toward the street. William moved in the opposite direction, deliberately making noise to draw attention away from them. 2 men in dark clothing appeared, flashlights sweeping across the pier. William ducked behind a shipping container, then purposefully knocked over a stack of crates, drawing their pursuit before sprinting toward a different exit. The men followed, allowing Claire and Lily to escape unseen. William led them on a chase through the maze of shipping equipment before doubling back through a maintenance area and emerging onto a different street than the one he'd indicated to Claire. For 20 agonizing minutes, he circled the area, ensuring he'd lost his pursuers before making his way to the car. Relief washed over him when he spotted it still parked where he'd left it, Claire and Lily safely inside. "That was too close," Claire said, as he slid into the driver's seat, breathing hard from his run. "They're not police. Those are private contractors." "How do you know all this?" William asked, starting the engine and pulling away from the curb with lights off. Claire stared straight ahead. "After the fire, I didn't believe the official story. I started investigating on my own. Rebecca, or Charlotte as I knew her, has left a trail of destruction behind her. 3 marriages, 2 ending in suspicious deaths, always insurance payouts, always new identities. We need concrete evidence," William said grimly. "Suspicions won't be enough, especially now that she's painted me as unstable." "I have some documentation," Claire offered, "medical records showing the pattern with Christopher. It wasn't enough for the police then, but combined with what's happening to Lily now." William glanced at his daughter in the rearview mirror. She had fallen asleep, exhaustion finally overcoming fear. "We're meeting someone tonight," he told Claire. "Catherine's brother. He has a secure location where Lily can stay while we gather more evidence." "I'll help however I can," Claire promised. "That woman can't be allowed to hurt another child." As they drove toward the lake house, following a circuitous route to ensure they weren't followed, William's mind raced with the implications of Claire's revelations. Rebecca, or whatever her real name was, had a history far darker than he'd imagined. The silver watch on his wrist caught the light from passing street lamps. For the first time since Catherine's death, William turned it over, revealing the inscription he'd avoided reading for 3 years. "Time passes, love remains. Protect our greatest treasure." Catherine had known. Somehow she had sensed that Lily would need protection one day. The thought strengthened William's resolve. He would not fail his daughter again, no matter what it took. The lake house appeared ahead, its windows dark except for a single light in the kitchen. Thomas waited on the porch, his tall frame silhouetted against the warm glow from inside. As William carried the sleeping Lily from the car, her small arms wrapping instinctively around his neck, he made a silent promise to both his daughter and his late wife. Rebecca's reign of terror would end. Lily would be safe, and he would become the father she deserved, the protector she needed. The clock was ticking. 48 hours had begun as a deadline for Rebecca's plans. Now it was William's timeline to expose the truth before his daughter became another tragic statistic in Rebecca Winters' deadly history. Dawn broke over the lake house, painting the water in shades of amber and gold. William Morgan stood at the window, watching the shifting colors while his daughter slept peacefully for the first time in months. The silver watch weighed heavy on his wrist, its ticking a constant reminder of time slipping away. Thomas Porter placed a mug of coffee beside William, his weathered face grave in the morning light. "You look like hell, Will." "I feel worse," William admitted, his voice rough from lack of sleep. The television played silently in the corner, closed captions scrolling beneath Rebecca's tearful image as she pleaded for her husband to return home with her stepdaughter. The performance was flawless. A desperate mother concerned for a child's well-being, a wife worried about her husband's mental state. Claire Lawrence entered from the guest room, her hospital scrubs exchanged for borrowed clothes. "She's good," she said, nodding toward the screen. "Always was. The doctors believed her every time she brought Christopher in with new symptoms." William turned from the window. "Tell me everything." Claire sank into an armchair, cradling her own coffee. "I first met Charlotte Reynolds, as she was known then, when she brought Christopher to the pediatric ward with unexplained seizures. He was 5. Over the next 2 years, he was admitted 17 times with different symptoms: respiratory distress, mysterious rashes, suspected poisoning." "And nobody connected the dots?" Thomas asked. "One doctor did," Claire said. "Dr. Helen Winters noticed patterns in the boy's lab work. Symptoms would appear when Charlotte was alone with him, improve when she wasn't. Helen began documenting her concerns, limiting Charlotte's access during hospital stays." William's hand tightened around his coffee mug. "What happened to Dr. Winters?" Claire looked down. "Car accident, brake lines cut, case never solved." The implications hung in the air between them. William set his mug down with deliberate control. 2 weeks after the accident, Christopher died in the house fire, Claire continued. Charlotte collected insurance money, changed her name to Rebecca, moved to another state. She married again, Richard Carlisle, banking executive. He died 18 months later in a boating accident. Another insurance payout, another name change, another move. Then she found me, William concluded grimly. The sound of small wheels on hardwood announced Lily's arrival. She pushed her wheelchair into the living room, hair tousled from sleep, eyes still heavy. Daddy, where are we? The conversation halted immediately. William crossed to his daughter kneeling beside her wheelchair. Good morning, Princess. This is Uncle Thomas's lake house. Remember him? Mom's brother? Lily nodded, studying the unfamiliar surroundings. It's pretty here. Does Mom know where we are? No, sweetheart, and that's good for now. William smoothed her hair. Are you hungry? Thomas makes amazing pancakes. With blueberries? Lily asked, a glimmer of childish delight breaking through her worry. Blueberry pancakes coming right up, Thomas confirmed, heading for the kitchen. Claire approached carefully, smiling at Lily. Good morning, Lily. Did you sleep well? Lily nodded shyly. Are you Daddy's friend from the hospital? That's right. I used to help your dad when he was a doctor, Claire answered. I'm going to help him again now. William's phone vibrated. Patricia's name flashed on the screen. Excuse us, Princess. I need to take this call. Claire will stay with you until Uncle Thomas finishes those pancakes. Stepping onto the porch, William accepted the call. Patricia, what's happening? It's worse than we thought, his assistant replied without preamble. Rebecca has frozen your accounts. The board is meeting this afternoon to discuss a temporary leave of absence. Eric Bennett is pushing for a psychiatric evaluation before you are allowed to return. William gripped the railing, knuckles white. They can't possibly believe I'm unstable. Rebecca provided emails showing erratic behavior, paranoid accusations. They appear to have come from your account. They're fabricated, William said flatly. I know that, Patricia assured him, but the board is concerned about company stability. The stock dropped 12 points this morning. What about the information on Rebecca? Did you find anything concrete? Yes, and it's disturbing. I've secured her previous medical records under the names you provided, sending them encrypted now. Also, Sarah Davis was admitted to Mount Sinai last night. Hit-and-run driver. She's in critical condition. William's blood ran cold. That's not coincidence. The police are at your house now, gathering Rebecca's statement. She's claiming you've been violent, suffering PTSD since your first wife's death. I need you to do something for me, William said. Contact Judge Michael Harrington. He owes me a favor after I funded his daughter's treatment at Mayo Clinic. Tell him I need an emergency hearing and temporary protective order for Lily. After finishing the call, William remained on the porch, gathering his thoughts. The reflection in the window glass showed a man he barely recognized. Unshaven, eyes hollow with exhaustion, shoulders hunched under invisible weight. The silver watch gleamed accusingly. Time passing, opportunities for protection slipping away. Behind him, through the window, he could see Lily laughing at something Claire had said. The sound pierced his heart like a blade. When was the last time he'd heard his daughter's genuine laughter? Inside, Thomas was setting a plate of blueberry-free pancakes shaped like stars in front of Lily. Her eyes widened with delight. You made them like stars. Your mom taught me, Thomas said, his voice gentle with memory. She said stars were magical because they guide people home. William entered, forcing a smile. Those look delicious. Mind if I steal one? Lily pushed the plate toward him. We can share, Daddy. The simple gesture of generosity from a child who had endured so much nearly broke him. William sat beside her, cutting a small piece of pancake and making a show of savoring it. Uncle Thomas might be an even better pancake chef than me. That's not hard, Lily giggled. You burned them last time. True, William admitted, relieved to see a spark of normalcy in his daughter. Claire's phone chimed with a news alert. Her expression darkened as she read the screen. William, they're expanding the search. Rebecca is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to Lily's safe return. She makes it sound like I kidnapped my own daughter, William muttered, careful to keep his tone light for Lily's benefit. That's exactly what she's doing, Thomas said quietly. And people will believe her. She's very convincing. William checked his watch, a habitual gesture, though he never actually looked at the time. We need to move quickly. Patricia is arranging an emergency hearing with a judge I trust. But we need solid evidence beyond Claire's testimony. What about the house? Thomas suggested. If Rebecca has been abusing Lily, there might be evidence there. It's crawling with police now, William pointed out. Claire set her phone down. What about the cameras? You said Rebecca had them installed throughout the house. Could we access the feed? William considered this. Maybe. My security company installed the primary system. Rebecca added her own later. If she's using remote cloud storage, Patricia might be able to access it. While William made the call, Claire helped Lily finish her breakfast. Thomas cleared the dishes, then beckoned William to follow him to a small office at the back of the house. I have something that might help, he said, unlocking a filing cabinet. Catherine was concerned about Rebecca from the beginning. She didn't trust her around Lily. What? Catherine never met Rebecca. They couldn't have. Thomas withdrew a manila folder. Catherine kept journals. After the accident, when you were still in the hospital with Lily, I gathered her personal effects. Her last journal had entries about a woman who kept appearing at her charity events, asking unusually detailed questions about your family, your finances. William took the folder with trembling hands. Catherine suspected Rebecca was targeting us? Why didn't you tell me? Thomas's expression was pained. You were grieving, focused on Lily's recovery. Then months later, when you introduced Rebecca as your new friend, I didn't make the connection immediately. By the time I did, you were already engaged. You seemed, if not happy, at least less hollow. I didn't want to resurrect painful memories based on what might have been paranoia. William opened the folder. Catherine's familiar handwriting covered pages of her leather-bound journal. He skimmed entries dated just weeks before the boating accident that had claimed her life and left Lily paralyzed. March 15th. The blonde woman was at the Children's Hospital fundraiser again. Third time this month, asked pointed questions about William's surgical practice, our finances, even Lily's school. Something feels off. March 20th. Saw her again today at the marina. William didn't notice her watching us board the sailboat. Taking photos? Going to mention it to him tonight. William's hands shook as he turned the page. The final entry was dated the day before the accident. March 23rd. Woman introduced herself, finally. Rebecca Winters. Claims to be interested in supporting the foundation, but questions too personal. Looked into her background. Nothing before 5 years ago. William thinks I'm overreacting, but I've asked Thomas to quietly investigate her. Something isn't right. William closed the journal, nausea rising in his throat. She was watching us before the accident. Catherine suspected something. The investigators ruled it an accident, Thomas reminded him. The storm was unexpected. No evidence of tampering. Was there a thorough investigation of the boat? William demanded. Or was everyone too focused on the tragedy of a mother lost, a child paralyzed, to look deeper? Before Thomas could answer, Claire appeared in the doorway. We have a problem. Neighbors reported seeing lights at the lake house last night. There's a sheriff's deputy coming up the drive now. William thrust the journal back into Thomas's hands. Get Lily ready to move. Out the back, into the boat shed. There's a service road that runs behind the property. Thomas nodded, moving swiftly toward the main house. William straightened his clothes, preparing to face the deputy. What's our story? Claire asked. We tell the truth. Partial truth, William amended. I'm here with my daughter recovering from a difficult family situation. You're a nurse helping with Lily's medical needs. The deputy knocked as they returned to the main room. William opened the door, projecting calm confidence despite his racing heart. Good morning, officer. Can I help you? The deputy was young, probably new to the force. Sir, we received reports of activity at this property. The owner is listed as Thomas Porter. That's right. He's my brother-in-law. We're staying for a few days as his guests. William opened the door wider. Would you like to come in? Coffee? The deputy hesitated, clearly not expecting cooperation. There's an alert out for a William Morgan and his daughter. Matches your description, sir. William nodded gravely. I'm aware. That's actually why we came here. My wife and I are having some difficulties. She's made some accusations that are not accurate. My attorney is handling it, but we needed a quiet place to sort things out. Claire stepped forward. I'm Lily's nurse. She requires daily physical therapy and medical supervision for her condition. The deputy glanced between them, uncertainty evident in his young face. Sir, I'm going to need to see some identification, and I should probably speak with the child, make sure she's all right. Of course, William agreed, reaching for his wallet. Lily is having breakfast with her uncle. She's perfectly safe, but you're welcome to verify that. As William handed over his driver's license, a crash came from the kitchen, followed by Thomas's voice raised in alarm. William, she's seizing. William's heart stopped. He bolted toward the kitchen, the deputy close behind. They found Thomas kneeling beside Lily's wheelchair. The little girl's body was rigid, eyes rolled back, small limbs jerking uncontrollably. She's never had seizures before, William said, dropping to his knees beside his daughter. Years of medical training took over as he gently turned Lily to her side, cushioning her head. Claire joined them, checking Lily's pulse. Tachycardia. When did this start? Just now, Thomas said, his face ashen. She was fine, then suddenly, the deputy hovered uncertainly. Should I call an ambulance? William was about to agree when Claire caught his eye, giving a nearly imperceptible shake of her head. Let's see if it passes, William said instead. Seizures can look frightening, but often resolve without intervention. The seizure lasted another 30 seconds before Lily's body relaxed. Her eyes fluttered open, confusion evident in her gaze. Daddy? What happened? You're okay, princess, William assured her, stroking her hair. Just a little episode. How do you feel now? Tired, Lily mumbled. My tummy hurts. Claire was examining the remains of Lily's pancakes, sniffing them surreptitiously. She caught William's eye again, her expression grim. The deputy stepped back. Sir, I think you should take her to a hospital. I'm a doctor, William explained, and Ms. Lawrence is a pediatric nurse. We'll monitor her closely. The young officer seemed unsure how to proceed. Mr. Morgan, given the situation, I should probably report that I found you. William straightened, meeting the man's gaze directly. Officer, my daughter has been abused by my wife. I have evidence I'm gathering for the court. If you report our location now, you could be putting Lily in danger. I can't just... 24 hours, William pressed. Give me 24 hours to get a temporary protective order from the judge. Then I'll bring Lily in myself, present all the evidence to the proper authorities. The deputy's radio crackled with a call about a traffic accident on the highway. He hesitated, looking at Lily's pale face, then back to William. 24 hours, he finally agreed. But if you're not at the station by this time tomorrow with that court order, I'll have no choice. After the deputy left, Claire immediately gathered the remaining pancakes into a plastic bag. These were drugged, probably benzodiazepines. I recognized the symptoms immediately. It's what she used on Christopher. But how? William demanded. Thomas made them from scratch. Thomas paled. The blueberries. I brought them from the refrigerator, but I didn't buy them. They were already there when we arrived. She knew we'd come here, William realized. She's been one step ahead the entire time. Lily had fallen into a deep sleep, her breathing slow but steady. William lifted her gently from the wheelchair, cradling her against his chest. We need to leave. Now. She'll have people watching the house. Where can we go? Thomas asked. If she predicted we'd come here, somewhere unpredictable, William decided. Somewhere from my past, not my present. They moved quickly, Thomas packing essential supplies while Claire monitored Lily's vital signs. William carried his daughter to Thomas's SUV, securing her in the back seat with Claire beside her. The sedative should wear off in a few hours, Claire assured him. Her pulse and respiration are stable. William nodded grimly, taking the driver's seat while Thomas rode shotgun. They took the service road behind the property, avoiding the main entrance where Rebecca might have placed watchers. Head north, William instructed Thomas, who knew the local roads better. There's an old hunting cabin my father used to take me to. It's been abandoned for years, but the structure was sound. Rebecca wouldn't know about it. I've never mentioned it to anyone. As they drove, William called Patricia on the secure line she'd established. We need to accelerate the timeline. Rebecca found us at the lake house. She drugged Lily. My God, Patricia breathed. Is she all right? For now. What about the camera feeds? I've accessed them, Patricia confirmed. Rebecca was sloppy, used the same password pattern for her cloud storage as her email. I'm downloading everything now, but William, It's worse than we thought. There's footage of her pushing Lily down the stairs, withholding food, psychological torture when you weren't home. William's grip tightened on the steering wheel. Send everything to Judge Harrington immediately. We need that protective order today. Already done. He's reviewing the evidence now. Patricia paused. There's something else. I've found financial transactions. Rebecca has been transferring large sums to offshore accounts for months. Over 12 million so far. And there are emails between her and Eric Bennett discussing how to trigger a medical event that would appear natural. The implication struck William like a physical blow. They were planning to kill me. And blame it on your supposed mental breakdown, Patricia finished. There's a life insurance policy for 50 million with Rebecca as sole beneficiary. You apparently signed it 6 months ago. I never signed any life insurance policy. Even as he said it, William remembered the stack of documents Rebecca had brought to his office, claiming they were routine updates to their estate planning. One more thing, Patricia added. I found records of payments to a private security firm called Nexus Operations, former military contractors specializing in problem resolution. 3 payments of $50,000 each in the past week. She's hired professionals to find us, William concluded. Patricia, you need to get somewhere safe. If Rebecca realizes you're helping me, already handled, his assistant assured him. I'm working from a secure location with private security of my own. Judge Harrington should call within the hour with his decision. The hunting cabin was exactly as William remembered. Rustic, isolated, accessible only by a dirt road that hadn't seen maintenance in years. The SUV bounced over ruts and potholes as they approached the small clearing. No one's been here in ages, Thomas observed as they parked. Perfect hiding place. William carried Lily inside while Claire and Thomas unloaded supplies. The cabin's interior was dusty but structurally sound, a single room with a stone fireplace, basic kitchenette, and 2 sets of bunk beds along the far wall. Claire immediately set about making a comfortable place for Lily on the lower bunk, checking her vital signs again. The sedative is wearing off. She'll probably wake within the hour. William nodded, relief mingling with rage at what Rebecca had attempted. I'll get a fire started. The nights get cold up here. As he stacked kindling in the fireplace, his secure phone rang. Judge Harrington's name appeared on the screen. Your Honor, thank you for taking this on such short notice. William, the judge's deep voice resonated with concern. I've reviewed the evidence your assistant provided. The video footage alone is disturbing enough, but coupled with the financial transactions and communications with Bennett, I've issued an emergency protective order for Lily. You have temporary sole custody pending a formal hearing. When can we come in? William asked, relief washing over him. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., my chambers. I'll have court security present. Your wife will not be notified until after you're safely in the courthouse. After ending the call, William shared the news with Thomas and Claire. We just need to stay hidden until morning. Then Lily will be legally protected while the investigation proceeds. Claire squeezed his arm. You did it, William. You're saving your daughter. The silver watch caught the light from the fire Thomas had built. William found himself actually looking at its face for the first time in years. 4:37 p.m. Less than 17 hours until they could emerge from hiding. Lily stirred on the bunk, her small voice groggy. Daddy, where are we now? William moved to her side, sitting on the edge of the bunk. A special place, Princess. My dad used to bring me here when I was little, just like you. We'd fish in the stream and look at the stars. Can we see the stars tonight? Lily asked, struggling to keep her eyes open. The most beautiful stars you've ever seen, William promised. Rest now. When you wake up, we'll have dinner and then stargazing. As darkness fell, they ate a simple meal of canned soup and crackers. Lily seemed fully recovered from the sedative, chattering about the cabin and asking if they could come back someday to fish like William had with his father. Of course we can, William assured her. We'll do lots of things together from now on. I promise. After dinner, William wrapped Lily in a blanket and carried her outside. The night was clear, the autumn air crisp with the scent of pine. Far from city lights, the sky blazed with stars, the Milky Way a luminous ribbon stretching overhead. There are so many, Lily gasped, her head tilted back on William's shoulder. More than anyone could count, William agreed. My dad taught me some constellations. See those three bright stars in a row? That's Orion's belt. And up there, that's the Big Dipper. Which one is Mom watching from? Lily asked softly. The innocent question caught William off guard. He swallowed hard before answering. The brightest one, Princess. She can see you from there, looking out for you always. Is she mad at us for running away from Rebecca? William turned to face his daughter, holding her gaze in the starlight. No, sweetheart. Your mom would be proud of you for being so brave, and maybe a little disappointed in me for not protecting you sooner. You're protecting me now, Lily said simply. That's what matters. From inside the cabin, Claire called William's name urgently. He carried Lily back inside to find Claire and Thomas huddled around her phone. What's wrong? Claire turned the screen toward him. A news alert showed Rebecca at a press conference, her face streaked with artfully applied tears. The headline beneath read, Fugitive billionaire armed and dangerous, daughter in imminent peril. She's claiming I'm armed? William stared at the screen in disbelief. Worse, Thomas said grimly. She's telling reporters you threatened to harm Lily rather than let her be taken from you. A murder-suicide scenario. The implications were immediate and terrifying. Police would now approach him as an armed threat, potentially putting both him and Lily in danger. We need to contact Judge Harrington again, William decided. Move up the meeting, tonight if possible. Before he could make the call, the secure phone rang. Patricia's voice came through, tight with urgency. William, they've tracked your location. Nexus operatives are converging on the area. You have maybe 20 minutes before they reach the cabin. How? William demanded. How did they find us? Your watch, Patricia said. It's transmitting a GPS signal. Rebecca must have had it modified when you had it cleaned last month. The silver watch. Catherine's gift. The one object William had kept with him constantly for 3 years, never suspecting it had become a beacon leading straight to them. We're leaving now, William said, already motioning for Thomas and Claire to gather their things. Can you contact Judge Harrington? Tell him we need police escort to his chambers immediately. On it. There's a ranger station about 5 miles east of your position. Head there. I'll have state police meet you. William removed the watch, staring at it for a moment before placing it on the cabin table. The last physical connection to Catherine. Now a betrayal orchestrated by Rebecca. Daddy, what's happening? Lily asked, sensing the tension. Another adventure, Princess, William told her, forcing a smile. We need to go meet some policemen who are going to help us. They moved quickly, loading the SUV and erasing signs of their presence. William carried Lily to the vehicle, securing her in the back seat between himself and Claire while Thomas drove. The dirt road was treacherous in darkness, the SUV's headlights illuminating only a short distance ahead. Thomas navigated carefully, aware that speed could lead to an accident on the uneven terrain. How much farther to the main road? William asked, checking behind them for pursuit. Maybe 2 miles, Thomas estimated, then another 3 to the ranger station. The headlights swept around a curve, revealing 2 black SUVs blocking the narrow road ahead. Men in tactical gear stood beside the vehicles, weapons clearly visible. Thomas slammed on the brakes. Private security, he hissed. Not police, William's mind raced. Back up. We'll try the logging trail that branches off half a mile back. Before Thomas could reverse, 2 more vehicles appeared behind them, closing the trap. They were surrounded. What do we do? Claire whispered, her arm protectively around Lily. William's expression hardened. Thomas, kill the engine but leave the keys. When I say go, drive straight at the vehicles ahead. They'll move rather than risk damaging their own vehicles. And if they don't move? Thomas questioned. They will. They want Lily alive. Rebecca's whole story depends on it. An amplified voice called from the darkness. Dr. Morgan, we know you're armed. Send out your daughter and no one needs to get hurt. William leaned close to Lily. Princess, I need you to be very brave. Claire is going to cover you with this blanket. Stay down no matter what happens, no matter what you hear. Don't come out until I tell you it's safe. Can you do that for me? Lily nodded, her eyes wide with fear. Like hide and seek? Exactly like that. William kissed her forehead. I love you more than anything in the world. Remember that. Claire covered Lily with the blanket as instructed, then met William's gaze. What's the plan? When Thomas drives forward, I'll open the door and roll out. They'll focus on me. Get Lily to the ranger station. William, that's suicide, Thomas protested. I don't plan on dying, William assured him grimly. Just creating a diversion. The voice called again. Final warning, De Morgan. Send out the girl or we come in shooting. Now, William whispered. Thomas gunned the engine. The SUV lurched forward, accelerating toward the roadblock. As predicted, the men scrambled to move their vehicles, creating a narrow gap. William flung open his door as they approached, rolling onto the dirt road. Pain shot through his shoulder as he hit the ground, but he was immediately on his feet, sprinting into the dense forest beside the road. Shouts erupted behind him. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness as several men pursued him into the trees exactly as he'd hoped. The SUV continued accelerating through the gap in the roadblock, carrying Lily towards safety. William ran deeper into the forest, using the darkness and his knowledge of the terrain to his advantage. He could hear his pursuers crashing through the underbrush behind him, falling further behind as he navigated by instinct and memory from childhood trips. A stream appeared ahead, its water black in the darkness. William splashed across, then doubled back along the bank, hoping to confuse his trail. The voices grew more distant as the pursuers continued straight ahead. For nearly an hour, William evaded the search, circling back toward the main road. If Thomas had made it through, they would be at the ranger station by now, police on the way. William just needed to stay free until help arrived. As he approached the road, a sharp blow struck the back of his head. Pain exploded through his skull as he fell forward, consciousness wavering. He rolled, looking up to see a tall figure silhouetted against the night sky. "Hello, William," said a familiar voice. Eric Bennett stood over him, a heavy flashlight in his hand. "Rebecca thought you might try something heroic." William struggled to rise, but his limbs refused to cooperate properly. "It's over, Eric. The judge has seen the evidence. You and Rebecca will both go to prison." Eric laughed, the sound chilling in the darkness. "Evidence? What evidence? Your unstable accusations? The ramblings of a man who kidnapped his own daughter, threatened her life." "The videos," William managed. "Rebecca's cameras recorded everything." Something flickered across Eric's face, uncertainty, perhaps even fear. Then his expression hardened. "It doesn't matter. You won't be alive to testify." He raised the flashlight again, but before he could strike, a new voice called from the darkness. "Police! Drop your weapon!" Flashlights illuminated the scene as state troopers emerged from the trees. Eric froze, then slowly lowered the flashlight. "This man kidnapped his daughter," Eric said smoothly. "I'm a family friend trying to help recover the child." "That's so," replied an older trooper approaching cautiously. "Funny, because we just took custody of his daughter at the ranger station. She had quite a story to tell about her stepmother. And you." Relief flooded through William. Lily was safe. His plan had worked. The trooper continued. "We also received some interesting video files from a Judge Harrington. Very disturbing content." Eric's confident demeanor crumbled. He lunged suddenly, not at the officers but at William, hands reaching for his throat. "You ruined everything. Do you know how long she planned this? How perfect it was?" The officers tackled Eric to the ground, restraining him as he continued to shout. "The money was offshore. We would have been set for life. She promised me." William sat up slowly, his head throbbing from the blow. "Where is Rebecca now?" he asked the trooper who helped him to his feet. "In custody," the man replied. "Tried to flee when she heard we had your daughter. Judge Harrington issued warrants for both her and Mr. Bennett here after viewing those videos." The forest echoed with the sounds of other arrests as the private security contractors were rounded up by additional state police units. William was led to a patrol car, a paramedic checking the wound on his head as they drove toward the ranger station. Lily was waiting inside, wrapped in a blanket, Claire and Thomas beside her. When she saw William enter, she launched herself from her wheelchair, arms outstretched. William caught her, holding her small body tightly against his chest as tears finally came. "You did it, Daddy," Lily whispered. "You saved us." William closed his eyes, breathing in the scent of his daughter's hair. For the first time in 3 years, the crushing weight of failure began to lift from his shoulders. Catherine would be proud. He had kept his oath to protect their greatest treasure. But as he held Lily in the fluorescent light of the ranger station, William knew their journey wasn't over. Recovery would take time, trust would need rebuilding. The wounds Rebecca had inflicted would leave scars, visible and invisible. The trooper approached with a satellite phone. Judge Harrington would like to speak with you, sir. William accepted the phone, still cradling Lily with one arm. Your Honor, I can't thank you enough. No thanks needed, the judge replied. The evidence was irrefutable. Ms. Winters and Mr. Bennett will face numerous charges, including conspiracy to commit murder, child abuse, fraud, and attempted kidnapping. Their associates as well. And Lily? You have full custody, effective immediately. I've also frozen all assets pending investigation. It appears Ms. Winters was systematically draining accounts for months. After ending the call, William rejoined Thomas and Claire. Lily had fallen asleep in his arms, emotionally exhausted by the ordeal. What happens now? Thomas asked quietly. William looked down at his daughter's peaceful face. Now we heal. Together. Outside the ranger station windows, dawn light began to break over the eastern horizon. A new day was coming. William Morgan, once a healer of others, now faced his greatest challenge, healing his family and himself. He had made an oath beneath the stars to protect his daughter. That oath would guide him through whatever challenges lay ahead. The silver watch was gone, but time remained. Time to rebuild. Time to become the father Lily deserved. Time to find their way home. Morning light streamed through the windows of Judge Harrington's chambers, casting long shadows across the polished oak table. William Morgan sat straight-backed in a leather chair, his shoulder bandaged beneath his borrowed suit jacket. 48 hours without proper sleep left dark circles beneath his eyes, but his gaze remained sharp, focused on the documents before him. Judge Michael Harrington reviewed the final page of the affidavit, his weathered face grave. At 72, he had presided over thousands of cases, yet the evidence presented in this one had visibly disturbed him. The temporary protective order is now permanent, he announced, signing the document with deliberate strokes. Criminal charges against Rebecca Winters and Eric Bennett will be filed by the district attorney this afternoon. The evidence is substantial. William exhaled slowly, a fraction of the tension leaving his body. Thank you, Your Honor. Don't thank me yet, Judge Harrington cautioned. This will become very public, very quickly. Your daughter will need protection from more than just her stepmother. I understand. The hearing is scheduled for next Monday. Ms. Winters will remain in custody until then, given the severity of the charges and flight risk. The judge removed his reading glasses. How is Lily? William glanced toward the adjoining room where Lily was drawing with Claire Lawrence. Physically recovering, emotionally. It will take time. Children are remarkably resilient, Harrington said, his voice softening, with proper support. She'll have everything she needs, William promised. I've already arranged for a child psychologist specializing in trauma recovery. Patricia Harris entered quietly, carrying a leather portfolio. The financial forensics team has their preliminary report, Mr. Morgan. William accepted the folder, scanning the contents with growing disbelief. 12 million transferred to Cayman accounts, another 8 million converted to cryptocurrency, properties purchased under shell companies in 5 countries. He looked up at Patricia. How did I not see this? Rebecca compartmentalized her activities expertly, Patricia explained. Created false records, forged signatures, even had a body double attend meetings in your name to authorize certain transactions. The judge frowned. The financial crimes alone carry substantial sentences, combined with conspiracy to commit murder, child abuse, evidence tampering. She'll be facing decades, Patricia confirmed. Mr. Bennett as well. William closed the folder, his expression hardening. I want to see her. Judge Harrington and Patricia exchanged concerned glances. Is that wise? The judge asked. Probably not, William admitted, but I need answers, not just for myself, but for Lily's healing, and for Catherine. Harrington studied him for a moment, then nodded. I'll make arrangements, but not at the detention center. We'll bring her here under guard this afternoon. William thanked him, then crossed to the adjoining room. Lily sat in her wheelchair at a small table, colored pencils spread before her as she worked intently on a drawing. Thomas dozed in an armchair nearby, exhaustion having finally claimed him. What are you drawing, Princess? William asked, kneeling beside his daughter. Lily held up the paper. The childish illustration showed 2 figures beneath a sky filled with stars, one tall, one small in a wheelchair. It's us, watching the stars at the cabin. It's beautiful, William said, his throat tightening. May I have this one when you're finished? I'd like to frame it. Lily nodded, adding another star to the sky. Are the bad men gone now? Yes, sweetheart. They can't hurt us anymore. And Rebecca? Lily's hand paused, the yellow pencil hovering over the paper. William chose his words carefully. She's with the police. She can't hurt you ever again. Lily resumed drawing, adding a small silver circle in the corner of the sky. Is that the special school in Switzerland real? The question caught William off guard. No, princess. It was never a real school. I knew it, Lily said softly. She told me it was a place where broken children get fixed or disappear forever. William fought to control the rage that surged through him at this revelation. Lily, look at me. He waited until her eyes met his. You are not broken. You never were. And you will never disappear. I promise you that. Lily studied his face, searching for reassurance. Cross your heart? Cross my heart, William affirmed, making the gesture over his chest. We're going to start fresh. Just you and me. Can we have pancakes for breakfast every day? William laughed, the sound surprising even himself. Not every day, but I promise to keep practicing until I can make star-shaped ones without burning them. Claire approached, smiling at their interaction. The nurse from Children's Hospital called. Lily's medical records are being transferred as requested. Dr. Winters wants to know when you'd like to schedule the evaluation for the new treatment program. Treatment program? Lily looked up, curiosity replacing fear in her eyes. William nodded. Remember how I told you doctors are always learning new ways to help people? There's a special program that might help your legs get stronger. Maybe even help you walk again someday. Lily's eyes widened. Really? Like in my dreams? It's not guaranteed, William cautioned, not wanting to raise false hopes. But there's a 60% chance with this new therapy. That means it works for more than half the children who try it. When can we start? Soon, William promised. First, we need to find a new home, somewhere peaceful near the hospital. With a garden? Lily asked hopefully. Mom always wanted a garden. With the biggest garden you can imagine, William assured her, and maybe a dog too. Lily's face lit up with genuine excitement for the first time in months. The sight warmed William's heart, even as he steeled himself for the confrontation to come. At 2 o'clock, Rebecca Winters was escorted into Judge Harrington's private conference room. Her designer clothes had been exchanged for a standard-issue detention center jumpsuit. Without her usual makeup and styled hair, she looked older, harder, the mask of perfection stripped away. William waited at the conference table, Patricia seated beside him. 2 armed officers stood by the door. Judge Harrington observed from behind a one-way glass partition, recording the exchange for potential evidence. Rebecca's handcuffs clinked as she took the seat across from William. For a moment, neither spoke, measuring each other across the polished wood. You look terrible, Rebecca finally said, her voice maintaining its cultivated elegance despite her circumstances. Prison won't suit you, William. You should reconsider your position while you still can. Prison? William raised an eyebrow. I'm not the one facing multiple felony charges. Rebecca leaned forward, lowering her voice to an intimate whisper. Let's be realistic. You have no actual evidence against me. The videos are inadmissible. Illegal surveillance. Your nurse friend's testimony is hearsay. And Lily, a traumatized, confused child whose testimony no judge would accept. William allowed a small smile. Is that what your attorney told you? Because mine says differently. He opened a folder, removing a single photograph. This was recovered from your cloud storage. You pushing Lily down the stairs. Date and time stamped. Rebecca's expression didn't change, but a muscle twitched in her jaw. Fabricated. The videos you recorded yourself from your own cameras. William laid out more photographs. Your documented internet searches for undetectable poisons and mimicking natural heart attack symptoms. The offshore accounts. The falsified, well, Patricia slid another document across the table. Or perhaps the Winterline facility records. 6 children admitted under your direction as Charlotte Reynolds. 3 dead, 2 missing. For the first time, uncertainty flickered in Rebecca's eyes. You're bluffing. Claire Lawrence was Christopher's nurse, William said quietly. She suspected you had Munchausen by proxy. She kept copies of his medical records, records that show the same patterns of induced illness that you were beginning to create for Lily. Rebecca's composure slipped further. Christopher was sick. He needed me. He was perfectly healthy until you began poisoning him, William countered, just like you tried to do with the blueberries at the lake house. You have no proof. We have the pancakes. Lab results show diazepam, your fingerprints on the container. Rebecca sat back, calculation replacing denial in her expression. What do you want, William? Money? I still have access to accounts you'll never find. William shook his head slowly. I don't want anything from you except answers. Did you cause the boating accident that killed Catherine? The question hung in the air between them. Rebecca's lips curved in a cold smile. Wouldn't you like to know? She taunted. Perhaps it was just a tragic accident. Perhaps I replaced a part in the navigation system. Perhaps I bribed the weather forecaster to withhold storm warnings. You'll never be certain, will you? William maintained his composure despite the rage building inside him. Why Lily? She was just a child. Innocent. Something dark flashed across Rebecca's face. Innocent? She was Catherine's favorite. Always Catherine's precious girl. My Christopher never had that. His father barely looked at him, too busy with his mistresses and his gambling. So you punished Lily for being loved? I punished you, Rebecca hissed, her mask falling away completely. You with your perfect life, your devoted wife, your adoring daughter. You deserve to lose everything, just like I did. And you would have if you hadn't stumbled onto my cameras. William studied the woman across from him, seeing her clearly for the first time. Not a monster, but something broken and twisted by pain, warped beyond recognition. There's one thing I still don't understand, he said. Why marry me at all? Why not just take the insurance money after Catherine's death? Rebecca laughed, the sound brittle as breaking glass. Because death would have been too easy, William. I wanted you to suffer. To watch your daughter withdraw and fade while you worked yourself to exhaustion, too blind to see what was happening under your own roof. You miscalculated, William observed. You thought my grief would make me more vulnerable. Instead, it made me vigilant. I may have been blind for a while, but I saw the truth eventually. Too late for Catherine, Rebecca taunted. William refused to take the bait. Catherine warned me about you in her journal. She suspected you were targeting our family before the accident. Rebecca's confidence faltered visibly. You're lying. Her last entry was about you. She asked Thomas to investigate you. If I hadn't been so consumed by grief after her death, I might have found her journal sooner. Might have seen the truth before you wormed your way into our lives. Rebecca's hands clenched into fists, the veneer of sophistication cracking further. She should have minded her own business. She was protecting her family, William replied evenly, as I'm doing now. Rebecca leaned forward, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. You think this is over? That Lily is safe? I have friends in places you can't imagine. People who owe me favors. No prison can hold me forever. William matched her posture, his voice equally quiet but filled with steel. Listen carefully, Rebecca. If you ever attempt to contact Lily or me again, if I ever so much as sense your presence in our lives, what happens to you will make prison look like a resort vacation. Rebecca's eyes widened slightly at the calm certainty in his tone. I have resources too, William continued, and unlike you, I have nothing left to lose. The man you married, the grieving widower too consumed by work to notice your manipulation, he's gone. You destroyed him the moment you poured that soup over my daughter's head. William stood, gathering the photographs into the folder. Goodbye, Rebecca. I'd say I hope you find peace, but we both know that's impossible for someone like you. As he turned to leave, Rebecca called after him, desperation finally cracking through her composure. She'll always be broken, William. Those legs will never work again. Every time you look at her, you'll remember your failure. William paused at the door, looking back with unexpected compassion. That's the difference between us, Rebecca. When I look at Lily, I don't see what's broken. I see what's healing. The door closed behind him with quiet finality. In the observation room, Judge Harrington turned off the recording equipment. Well, that was illuminating and admissible. She all but confessed to multiple crimes. William nodded, suddenly exhausted. Will it be enough? More than enough, the judge assured him. The district attorney is confident. Between the financial evidence, the medical records, and this interview, Rebecca Winters will likely spend the rest of her life in prison. And Eric Bennett? Facing similar charges, plus attempted murder for attacking you in the forest. He's already offered to testify against Rebecca in exchange for leniency. William's shoulders sagged with relief. Then it's really over. The legal battle, yes, Harrington agreed. The healing process is just beginning. 3 weeks later, William stood in the garden of a small seaside cottage, watching Lily as she practiced with her new forearm crutches. Physical therapist Sophia Martinez counted rhythmically as Lily took careful steps across the lawn. 5 more, Lily, Sophia encouraged. You're doing amazingly well. Lily's face shone with determination, sweat beading on her forehead as she completed the exercise. After the final step, she collapsed into her wheelchair, exhausted but triumphant. Did you see, Daddy? I went farther than yesterday. I did see, William confirmed, bringing her a cup of water. You're getting stronger every day. Sophia packed her equipment, smiling at William. She's making remarkable progress. Most children take months to reach this stage after beginning the neural regeneration therapy. She's always been determined, William said, pride evident in his voice. After the therapist left, William wheeled Lily down to the beach. The small cottage they'd purchased sat on a quiet stretch of coastline north of Boston, close enough to Children's Hospital for Lily's treatments, but far from the memories of New York. Can we put our feet in the water? Lily asked hopefully. Of course. William lifted her from the wheelchair, carrying her to the water's edge. Together they sat on the sand, letting the gentle waves wash over their bare feet. Lily wiggled her toes in the foam. I can feel it better today. The cold. That's the therapy working, William explained. The neural pathways are re-establishing connections. Like fixing broken telephone wires? William smiled at her analogy. Exactly like that. Very smart thinking. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching seagulls wheel overhead. The peaceful moment was a stark contrast to the media frenzy that had erupted after Rebecca and Eric's arrests. For 2 weeks, William had shielded Lily from the reporters camped outside their temporary apartment. The lurid headlines, the public fascination with what newspapers called the stepmother's plot. Daddy? Lily's voice pulled him from his thoughts. Are you still sad about your doctor job? William considered the question carefully. Not sad exactly. Sometimes I miss helping people that way, but I'm helping you now, and that's the most important job in the world. Lily frowned thoughtfully. But you could help other kids too, like Dr. Winters helps me. The idea had been growing in William's mind since their first consultation with Dr. Helen Winters, the pediatric neurologist overseeing Lily's treatment. Watching the doctor's skilled interaction with his daughter had awakened something long dormant within him. Maybe someday, William acknowledged. Right now, you're my priority. I think you should be a doctor again, Lily declared with childish certainty. You smile different when you talk to Dr. Winters about medical stuff, like you used to smile in the old pictures with Mom. William stared at his daughter, surprised by her perception. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise, Lily informed him seriously. You were just too busy to notice. The innocent observation struck William to the core. She was right. He had been too busy, too wrapped in grief and work to truly see his daughter. Rebecca had exploited that blind spot, but the failure had been his long before she entered their lives. You're right, he admitted, and I'm sorry for that, but I promise it won't happen again. Lily leaned against his shoulder, accepting his apology with the simple forgiveness of childhood. I know. That evening, after tucking Lily into bed with a story about brave princesses who rescued themselves, William made a call he'd been contemplating for days. Dr. Winters, it's William Morgan. I've been thinking about your offer. Helen Winters had approached him during Lily's second treatment session, suggesting that with his surgical background and personal experience with pediatric trauma, he might consider joining their research team part-time. I'd be delighted, Dr. Winters replied warmly. When would you like to start? Gradually, William stipulated. 3 mornings a week initially while Lily is in her therapy sessions. I can increase hours as she improves. Perfect. The children in our program will benefit enormously from your perspective. After ending the call, William sat on the porch, listening to the rhythmic crash of waves on the shore. For the first time in 3 years, he felt something like peace settling over him. His phone chimed with a message from Thomas, who had returned to New York to oversee the dismantling of William's former life there. The Morgan mansion had been sold, the proceeds placed in a trust for Lily. Morgan Enterprises continued under new management, with William maintaining majority ownership but no active role. The message contained a photograph of a small wooden box Thomas had found hidden in Catherine's studio. Thought you might want this. Bringing it when I visit next weekend. William studied the image, recognizing the carved box Catherine had kept her most personal treasures in, another piece of her returning to their lives. The weeks passed, turning to months as winter yielded to spring. Lily's progress continued, each small victory celebrated. The first time she stood unsupported for 10 seconds. The first 3 steps without crutches. The first time she climbed the cottage stairs with only the handrail for support. William's return to medicine proved as healing for him as the therapy was for Lily. 3 mornings a week became 4, then 5. His surgical skills slowly returning as he assisted with procedures related to the neural regeneration program. The media attention gradually faded as Rebecca and Eric's trials proceeded. Both were convicted on multiple counts, but Rebecca receiving consecutive sentences totaling 80 years without possibility of parole. Eric received 25 years in exchange for his testimony against her. One evening in May, William returned home to find Lily in the garden with Sarah Davis, who had finally recovered from her injuries and become a regular visitor to the cottage. They were painting at an easel Sarah had brought, the canvas alive with vibrant colors. "What are you creating?" William asked, admiring their work. "A memory painting," Sarah explained. "I asked Lily to show me her strongest happy memory." The painting depicted a night sky filled with stars, 2 figures, one large, one small, silhouetted against the vast expanse. The cabin from their escape was a small dark shape in the background. "It's the night we watched the stars," Lily explained. "When you said Mom could see for us from the brightest one," William swallowed the lump in his throat. "It's beautiful, Princess." "Almost finished," Sarah said. "We just need to add one more thing." She guided Lily's hand as they painted a small silver object in the corner of the canvas. A watch, its hands pointing to a new beginning. That night, after Lily was asleep, William sat on the porch with the wooden box Thomas had brought from New York. He'd been hesitant to open it, uncertain what memories it might unleash. But tonight, something told him it was finally time. Inside, he found Catherine's jewelry, her grandmother's pearl earrings, her sapphire engagement ring, a delicate gold locket containing a tiny photograph of Lily as a baby. Beneath these lay a small leather-bound journal he hadn't seen before, newer than the one Thomas had shown him at the lake house. With trembling fingers, William opened it to the first page. Catherine's handwriting filled the cream-colored paper. For William, if something should ever happen to me, to be given to him by Thomas when the time is right. William turned the page, tears blurring his vision as he read. "My dearest William, if you're reading this, I'm no longer with you and Lily. I've always been practical about life's uncertainties, especially since becoming a mother. So I'm writing this not out of fear or premonition, but out of love and the desire to reach across whatever divide separates us now." The journal contained letters Catherine had written to him over several months, sharing thoughts about their life together, her hopes for Lily's future, and most importantly, her absolute faith in William as a father. "You've always doubted your ability to connect with Lily, too afraid you'll somehow fail her. Don't let that fear define your relationship. She needs your strength, your kindness, your willingness to be imperfect but present. Children don't need perfect parents. They need authentic ones who show up every day, especially on the hardest days." William read until dawn painted the horizon in shades of gold and pink. As the first rays of sunlight touched the water, he closed the journal, holding it against his chest like a talisman. Catherine had known him better than he knew himself. Her words across time had somehow anticipated his struggle, his retreat into work after her death, his need for redemption. And now they offered absolution he hadn't known he was seeking. The cottage door creaked open. Lily stood there in her pajamas, leaning against the door frame, using her own strength to remain upright. "Daddy," Why are you crying? William wiped his eyes, smiling through his tears. Happy tears, Princess. I found something very special from Mom. Lily made her way carefully to the porch swing, each step small but determined. William watched, not rushing to help, understanding now that his daughter needed to find her own strength, just as he had. Can I see? She asked, settling beside him. William showed her the journal, explaining what it was. Mom wrote letters to me to help me be a better dad for you. Did it work? Lily asked, genuinely curious. William laughed softly. I think it's starting to. Lily leaned against him, her small hand finding his. We should get a new watch for you, to replace the one you had to leave behind. You're right, William agreed, but not silver this time. Maybe something with stars on it. And we could put a picture of Mom inside, Lily suggested, so she's always with us. They sat together as the sun rose higher, casting long shadows across the garden Catherine would have loved. The path ahead still held challenges, Lily's continuing recovery, the emotional healing they both needed, rebuilding their lives in this new place. But for the first time since losing Catherine, William faced the future without the crushing weight of guilt and failure. He had kept his oath, the one spoken in anger at Rebecca, the one silently made to Catherine, the one promised to Lily under a star-filled sky. He had protected their greatest treasure. 6 months later, on a crisp autumn evening, William and Lily stood on the beach behind their cottage. Lily took cautious steps along the shoreline, using only a single crutch now. Her progress in the neural regeneration program had exceeded even the most optimistic projections. Look how far I can go now, she called, pride evident in her voice. Amazing, William agreed, watching her from a few yards away, close enough to help if needed, but giving her space to test her strength. The wristwatch on his arm caught the fading sunlight, a new one with constellations etched into the face, containing a tiny photograph of Catherine inside the cover. Unlike the silver watch that had become a painful reminder of loss, this one measured time moving forward, not backward. As darkness fell, stars appeared overhead, scattered like diamonds across black velvet. Lily pointed upward with her free hand. There's Orion's belt, she announced triumphantly, and the Big Dipper. You taught me those. You have an excellent memory, William said, impressed. Which one do you think Mom is watching from tonight? Lily asked, continuing their tradition. William considered the vast canopy above them. He said finally, she's in every star that helps guide us home. Lily nodded, accepting this answer with the wisdom that sometimes seemed beyond her years. She took a few more steps, then looked back at her father. Daddy? Yes, Princess? I'm ready to try walking to school next week, without the wheelchair as backup. William felt his heart swell with pride and love so intense it was almost painful. Are you sure? Lily nodded firmly. Dr. Winter says I'm ready, and I want to show the other kids I can do it. Then we'll practice every day until you're confident, William promised. Will you be scared? Lily asked perceptively. William considered the question, then answered honestly. A little. Parents are always a little scared when their children take big steps forward, but being scared doesn't mean we shouldn't let you try to. Lily smiled, satisfied with his answer. That's what I told Dr. Harrison in therapy yesterday, that being scared is okay as long as you don't let it stop you. Dr. Emily Harrison, Lily's psychologist, had been working with her for months, helping her process the trauma of Rebecca's abuse and develop healthy coping mechanisms. She'd also had several family sessions with William, strengthening their communication and helping him understand how best to support Lily's emotional recovery. Dr. Harrison is very wise, William acknowledged. And so are you. The wind picked up, carrying the scent of salt and promise. William checked his watch. A real check, not the empty gesture he'd performed for years with Catherine's silver timepiece. 8 o'clock. Time for your bath before bed. 5 more minutes? Lily negotiated, gazing longingly at the star-strewn sky. 5 more minutes, William agreed, moving to stand beside her. Together they tilted their faces toward the heavens, father and daughter unified in their quiet contemplation of infinite possibilities. In that moment of perfect stillness, William realized they had both been broken by life's cruelties. Lily's body, his spirit. Yet here they stood, stronger at the mended places, their shared wounds transformed into a deeper capacity for joy and gratitude. Daddy? Lily's voice was soft in the darkness. Yes, Princess. Can I still call you my hero, even though I'm getting braver now? William knelt on the sand beside her, bringing his eyes level with hers. In the starlight, he could see Catherine's gentle strength reflected in their daughter's face. Always, he promised, his voice thick with emotion, and you will always be mine. Lily wrapped her free arm around his neck, her crutch forgotten as she leaned against him. William held her steady, supporting her weight while allowing her the triumph of standing on her own terms. Above them, a shooting star traced a brilliant path across the night sky. Fleeting, breathtaking, a moment of pure wonder in the darkness. Neither spoke, but both made the same silent wish upon its passing. Not for what they had lost, but for what they had found. Not for the past they couldn't change, but for the future they would build together. Not for perfect healing, but for the strength to embrace life's imperfections with grace and courage. And as they turned toward home, Lily taking small but confident steps beside her father, that wish began its transformation from dream to reality, one moment, one day, one star at a time.